Okay, so today I'm trying to make a mold out of this Thor hammer, Mjolnir, or I don't know how to pronounce it, but I need to create the frame. So let me get started. So I think this should be good. Maybe. That's good. Alright, we're going to use some old Max 60 today. So I'm going to just reuse this old cutout cup. Like that. So I'm going to use this. Alright, that's how I'm going to pour it. Let's zero out the scale here. Okay, so use what I have left of this mold mixer. I mean, it does say you should use it as fast as soon as possible. So we got 54. We're supposed to use 3% by weight. There we go, 152 grams. You can times that by 3, it's 450, 4.5 grams. So it should be at 156, 157. There we go. So ideally, all this blue stuff you want gone. So you got to really mix it good. You don't want any streaks. You don't want any hint of blue in there. It's got to be mixed evenly. And make sure you use something sharp or it's got a straight edge that can really dig out every corner on the container that you're using, because you want every little bit mixed in there. You want every little bit to come in contact with that blue solution. Otherwise it won't activate and it'll be permanently sticky and tacky. It won't really set as silicone. Make sure, get it all in there. Okay. I mean, if you really want to go fancy, you can get a vacuum chamber, but I'm not there yet, so we're gonna have to wait. So this is the part when you want to add those little extras. So when you pour, don't pour directly on the object. Pour next to it and then let it fill in by itself. Because when you pour directly on it, you have the chance of creating like an air gap, creating bubbles, and when you're trying to cast something very accurate and detailed, that is not what you want. So just let it slow, steady pour. Once the surface is already covered, you can move over to the middle. Yeah, but it's just that initial contact. You want it to slowly creep onto your object and not directly pour on top, because that's how you create bubbles. And so like the slow capillary action as it's creeping, that creates less bubbles. Make sure we have enough. If not, I have another pack I'm ready to open. I really just wanted to use what was left of the first one I had. I think I got a good cover. I think that was a good quantity. All right. So eventually it's gonna even out, but might want to help it a bit, especially this one. This one's kind of been sitting there for a while, so it's gonna be a lot slower to get even, but we'll eventually get there. Okay, so that's that. All right, let's take a look. Play-Doh. Oh, that's really weird. Well, it looked black for a second. I'm like, I remember it being green when I put it in there. It still looks black. I wonder if this reacted chemically with it. Try not to bend it because it's real brittle. Oh, there it goes. It looked black, but still translucent. Yeah, it's pretty good. It cut a lot of the detail on there. And this guy created a nice little imprint there. So this is a good half. So now for the, I'm gonna wash this off with water. I'll put it right here and rebuild it. Granted, because the mold was pretty old, it didn't really flatten out. I might just put a little bit of Play-Doh at the base here just to keep it flat, so I won't get any silicone that pours through. But pretty good for first cast. Okay, so let's build this back up. There we go. Fits like a glove. Alright, I need to... Most of the Play-Doh dried off. So that just flakes right off. Make sure it's nice and snug. Okay. Okay, so need some Vaseline. I'm just gonna apply it all over that surface. So I'm open up a brand new mix. So we need to get to 184. Okay. So let's take a look. Looks like it's cured. Didn't have any leakage. Okay. Let's see how our separation went. Having some trouble dividing here. All right. Peel this guy apart. And here we have it. 2-part mold. Now what I do need to do is create a channel where it's gonna pour into. So that's going to create some issues. I need to think that out. Where do I want to pour the metal from? Now granted, a lot of the metal is going to have to pour up here. And it might create some shrinkage just based because it's a lot over here. But I don't know. Alright, so this part's the deep side. I'm probably going to have this be the bottom. Here I'm going to have a sprue, so I might have to cut this in half, because once I make that channel, it's going to be tapered, so it's going to be like a nail in here, so I'm going to have to cut this anyway. So let's get that started. So I think I'm just going to cut this in a zigzag pattern. There we go. Okay. So that's gonna make it a bit easier. I think I'm gonna cut some air pockets out of here. And just real thin air vents for air just to escape. I mean, it's just going to be the thinnest little thing. because you don't want bubbles to show up there. Okay. And now we're just going to start making the channel up here. It's going to be concave. So this is going to be the top. You're just going to make a bowl pretty much. You're going to try to create a bowl shape. And then the idea is you want the bowl shape to retain the most heat. You want all of this to solidify first, and as it solidifies, it draws in liquid, because when it's solid it takes up less space. So it condenses down, and to fill that gap it draws from the liquid up top. And so the idea is, as this is solidifying and constricting, this, which has the most mass, is still the hottest, it's going to stay molten, feeding this as it's solidifying. Because if you do like open pores, you'll see it contract. Sometimes you'll see giant voids in the middle of it. And when you're doing something like this where detail matters, that's not something you want. So you want a big bowl up here to retain heat. You want it to have more mass than the actual thing you're casting. And just keep them together so you keep it symmetrical. You could have some idea of where you're going. Remember to cut away from your body. This thing is rubber, and sometimes it hits a sleek spot and it flies, and you might cut yourself. Just be very careful. Cut away from yourself. Okay. It's our void now. See, I have to fill it up a bit more over here. Nearing. So if you could see, what I've created is the hole. So as it fills in from the top, it's going to create this hole here. It's going to fill up here. It's going to go 90 degrees into here, fill this in as it's going. And just fill in all the way. I'm gonna make it go up here. I'm gonna try to make another channel feed into the handle here, just to keep it even in case this solidifies this area here. If this gets hard, I don't want it to block off flow into the handle. So I'm gonna make it flow down. Half of it goes into the head, half of it goes down into the handle, and it should be okay. There you go. So there's a hole, side 1, and side 2 feeds into the handle. So once I have it closed up, I'm going to tie some copper wiring around here to keep it shut, keep it in place. It should pour pretty well. Let's see how that does. So you want to prep the molds. Put some baby powder on them. Let's put them together. Just beat it up a bit. Make sure it's got a nice coat everywhere. There you go. That's good. Alright, once the mold's together, then you're going to tie it together. Okay. So once you have this down, I'm going to make sure it's set where it's supposed to be. And then here I tied some copper cable just to keep it together. Just want to tie it down, but not too tight. You don't want to warp the mold. You want to keep it kind of tight. Okay. So this didn't work. Let's figure out why. We had leaks come out the sides here. So I'm gonna have to make another cross wire to try to tighten that up. Let's see what did end up solidifying. Let's take a look. Okay, I mean, first glance, not too bad, but I do see some warping here. Looks pretty clean. I'm going to try a second pour with the cross wiring on it. Let's see what happened here. Okay.
Why did you do that?
Here's that second wire. Actually, since this part's the weaker one, I'm going to start right up here, right on the top. Loop it down and then tie it up here at the bottom. Okay, trying to keep its shape. Looks tighter. We'll see. I almost touched that piece of metal with my bare hands. I don't do that. do that. Yeah, this came out pretty well. See, I was talking about that shrinkage. Because it didn't let it pull up at the top, it didn't have anything to draw from. And it started creating a void. Alright, let's draw. Looking good so far. Don't see any leaks. No leaks is good. Make sure I move it around just in case there's parts it's not touching. Alright, no leaks on this one. Created a nice sprue at the top. Let's see what that one looks like. Okay. Oh, nice. Let's see. All right, this one is a lot better. I don't see those voids. Yeah. There's not that much warpage. Voids aren't there. This is the way it's supposed to be. So here's the finished product. After I took off all the sprues and polished it up a bit, I added a leather cord to it. Not too bad.